So, for 10 years now, well, no, that wouldn't be accurate because I didn't have my computer 10 years. For 2.5 to 3 years now, I've been debating as to whether or not to do a video based either centered on the topic of 9/11 or to do a video that touched on the subject of 9/11. And essentially I decided that for today, which is essentially the 10-year anniversary of 9/11, that there was no way that I could not do a video. So if you'll bear with me, I don't have anything as per usual scripted out. First of all, this video won't be about in its entirety the events of 9/11, but I will touch upon those things. September 9th, 2001. I remember when I was at my place of employment, I was going from one side of the street to the other, and I was probably going to say some sort of foolish thing, not knowing at the time what had just transpired. And as I was getting ready to say whatever it was I was saying, someone told me to kind of hush a bit because they had the radio on, and apparently the first plane had hit the first tower. And I can tell you, this is one of the few things, very few things, that I actually remember, historically speaking, where I was when this event happened. Now, as far as this video as a whole goes, this is a video really about tragedies such as 9/11, but also, natural disasters like the tsunami in Japan, various earthquakes over the world, throughout the world, the shooting in Columbine, and pretty much any natural or man-made evil that has transpired throughout history. And the question I put forth to anyone pretty much of any age is, are you connected with these kind of historical events, or are you disconnected? And what I mean is, depending on where you're at in this time in your life, whomever you are, you can end up being disconnected because of events that did not happen within your lifetime. Or if they happened within your lifetime, perhaps you were at too young of an age to grasp the meaning of what has happened. A baby in 2001 is 9 or 10 years old now. Other than a history book, they wouldn't have any kind of feel for what has happened in their lifetime, even though they were alive then, unless they're really, studious and, historically driven and wants to, just find out things. But to me, look at something like the Titanic, a real event. But I guess if you polled most people and asked them what they thought about the event of the Titanic, probably anywhere from 3 out of 10 to 8 out of 10 people, depending on the region from which you're asking, would probably quote the line, "I'm king of the world." And that, I believe, is because most people were not around then, and they're disconnected from that situation, even though it's a real event. Folks being in concentration camps, folks being killed, whether it's within the time of slavery or after the time of slavery. Are you connected or are you disconnected? Now, of course, you have people out there that are very sympathetic and are caring because that's their natures to be so. But you have a lot of people, and I'm not saying they're being insensitive, but you have a lot of people that if it didn't happen in a way that's directly relatable to them, they can't make the connection with the strife and the sorrow of anybody that either existed within those times or people who are descendants of people that existed within those times. You listen to people that talk about the Titanic, it really has become, for a lot of folks, a joke, because they don't associate the Titanic with anything real, even though their mind tells them that's a real event. Their heart still goes to the fact that it was just a movie. About 3 months, maybe 4 months after 9/11 happened, some comedian, I believe it was a comedian, made some kind of joke about 9/11 and did the old patented, after he heard a bunch of gasps and moans, did the old patented, "Oh, wait a minute, too soon? Too soon?" And clearly this was a person that was just, if he wasn't desensitized to the event that happened, he was in denial about the event that happened, and that people would just automatically take it as a joke because he said it in a joking way. For me personally, it was something that I did not see as being funny, and I don't think I'll ever see it as being funny. But that's a real event that, being a member of society, I went through. Not that I had any family that was tied to it, not that I had any friends that was tied to it, not that I lost anybody that was tied to it. but you're a link in the chain of folks that, you know, were like lost. When you lose somebody, well, when you lose somebody ever, it's a bad thing. But when you lose somebody on that kind of scale, when that person is lost, regardless of whether you know it or not, whether you know them or not, it's still like there's a part of you that's lost yourself, because the links in that chain have been damaged. They've been broken. And I'm one of the guys that feels like we're all in some way or not to be too meta about it, but we're all in some way interconnected, the good and the bad. And you had people from 9/11 that lost their lives in all different walks of life. Look at the shootings in Columbine and other places. People don't really talk about it anymore. It's become more or less a footnote. I still think that's a significant thing. 2 young men, kids really, probably bullied, and I'm not making any excuses for them, basically went out, killed a lot of people, and killed themselves. Now, the jaded part of me, because I do tend to be a jaded person quite often, and you know, occasionally somewhat cynical, and that aspect of me often says, with people that shoot up a lot of people and then take their own lives, why do they just not start out by taking their own lives? Now, I don't advocate suicide or anything like that, but why spread misery through a lot of other people's lives just because you felt that you were dealt a raw hand? And then, after you've done what you've done to destroy, to kill people, and then to destroy other people's lives that were connected to the people you killed, then you go ahead and you take yourselves out. To me, that's just beyond evil. That's, you know, an act of cowardice. The only solace that can be gained from it is if you're a person of faith, you'll pretty much believe that these 2 guys that did that were hellbound. But if you're not a person of faith, then you're feeling like, you know, they kind of got off easy. I don't really have a solution. You know, I don't do the kumbaya thing. I don't do the Michael rowed the boat ashore thing and have people clasp hands and holding candles and quoting this chapter or this verse from whatever doctrinal book that one uses. But I like to think that we're better than the sum of our parts, and as such, we'll come together, you know, when something is too huge for an individual or a small group to handle. Anyway, I could really just go on and on, but I know that I would be just repeating myself over and over again, which I may have done in this video. But I really just wanted to touch on it, and anybody else that has thoughts that they want to share, maybe memories they want to share, perhaps, God forbid, you've actually lost someone to a tragedy, be it 9/11, be it the deal at Columbine, be it the Oklahoma bombing that happened there. or just whatever the case may be. If there's anything you care to share on the topic, feel free. Video response, anything. So I think I'm gonna stop this right here, and thank you for your time.